friends, it's Holly. Welcome to Dandelion Stitches. Welcome everyone. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not stitching, we're not quilting, we're not doing anything. I just am going to show you a video of our labyrinth. But before I showed you the video, I really wanted to take a minute and explain how it came to be and just kind of introduce you to it before we go out there in it. It is a prairie labyrinth. It is designed in the shape of a spiral. A spiral is nature's symbol. It's found in so much nature. I mean, pine cones, ferns, snails, nautilus. I mean, you can hardly go anywhere without seeing a spiral in nature. So that was why we chose the spiral. When this house was built, I built this house with my ex-husband, my kid's dad. The lot was given to us as a wedding gift by his uncle if we chose this specific lot. And it is because attached to this lot there is a little over an acre of what is considered to be runoff from the creek that's behind us, and nothing can ever be built on it. It's never flooded ever in 40 years I've lived here, but anyway. So we just had to mow it, and mowing it got old. When my kids were little, there were a lot of baseball games, a lot of football games, a lot of stuff went on out there. It was just a fun thing to have. We have a fire pit. It was just, you know, it was a hopping place when my kids were around. But when they left, it was kind of like, well, what are we going to do with it? So I got it in my bright head that I wanted to create a labyrinth. So that's what we did, and basically all it is just a big path that was mowed into the grass in a spiral shape. We did plant two trees. We put a crabapple tree at the very center and a pine tree out near a fir tree, out near kind of the edge. You'll see it when you go past it. Otherwise, everything that's growing out there is volunteer. There are, I think my husband knows everything. He knows every plant that's out there. I think he said there are like 10 prairie grasses, different prairie grasses. There are all kinds of different plants. It's the coolest little ecosystem of showing us how nature takes care of itself. The plants that just arrived, they either came in bird droppings or for however things just kind of started to show up there in that spiral. We've got really cool plants that are called cup plants, and the way that their leaves are they're really tall, and the way their leaves are configured, they create like a cup along the stem, and they're like bump, 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 bump all the way down the stem, so that when it rains, it creates a reservoir of water, so insects, birds, even like little rodents down low can get a drink. We have other, I wish I knew what they were called. My husband knows. But anyway, there's a gazillion of them out there. And when they bloom like little daisies almost. But they're kind of more flat. And the bees adore them. And they sleep in them. When you go out in the evening with a flashlight, you can see them sleeping along inside. Sometimes there'll even be two little bees sleeping in these little flowers. We have bunnies, we have possums, we have fox, we have coyotes, we have gophers, chipmunks. I mean, any sort of animal that is native to the area somehow ends up out there because for one thing, it's safe, and there are things for them to eat there because nature provides that for them. So we're going to do the walkthrough at twilight. Twilight is the most magical time out there, especially at this time of the year. And the fireflies are just buzzing all over the place. They just light up like little cities all over, and we've put a lot of lights out there so that when we do walk in the evening, it's lit, and it's just really magical. So I hope that you enjoy the walk through our labyrinth. I was going to mention, it's open for anybody who wants to come and walk it. I use it for walking meditation. People sometimes when they just need to think, just the act of walking in a spiral and then back out in a spiral kind of helps your mind to calm, or helps you kind of get clarity. We have a family in the neighborhood who are Buddhists. I'm a Buddhist. And before everybody goes a little crazy, Buddhism is not a religion. It's just a choice. It's a lifestyle. And I Christians, all my friends, I mean, it's just a choice. But anyway, we have a Buddhist family in our neighborhood, and they had the funeral for their grandfather in the center of the labyrinth, and now they frequently come and walk the labyrinth, and it's their little memory place for their dad and grandpa, and that's just, God, I love that so much. I'm just so grateful that I could provide that kind of thing. So anyway, enough chit chat. Let's go have a look at the labyrinth. I'm not going to come back and say goodbye. It's over. It's over. If you've got any questions, or if you do want to come and walk, please feel free. If you're local, if you're not, and you're driving through or whatever. It's about a 10-minute walk all the way in and out, or slower if you walk slower. So anyway, welcome to my labyrinth. So welcome to the labyrinth. The stepping stones are supposed to look like leaves. Tom and I made them several years ago. They're becoming part of the earth right now. That's grapevine that's going up over the top of the trellis. Everything on the right-hand side of the path are things that really like shade. The creek is right on the other side of that, and there's trees along the creek, and they're creating shade. So most of that stuff right there along that side of the path are things that really like shade, so they grow over there. Things are a little crunchy right now. We could really use some rain. It's a lot of the grasses are getting pretty brown, starting to go dormant. On the left is a mulberry tree bush. Totally volunteer, just showed up. Birds love it, and Tom eats them too. He said they're a little bitter, but not too bad. That house across the street is our favorite neighbors. They're just the best neighbors ever. They've been here about as long as we have. So pretty soon he's going to stop, and he's going to pan off to the left. And it's going to get a little bit blurry, but he's just between low light and going a little quick. But it's not bad. So that's our house. You can't really see it through the trees, but that's the direction that the house is. So we're coming up on the cup plants that I mentioned. They're the tall plants to the right. They will get taller than that, but they're amazing. And then on the left is Persephone, our owl. When the wind blows, she flies. Well, she flaps her wings.
Oh, firefly. You can see it's starting to get a little darker. The longer we go, it just is getting a little bit darker. The bats are flying around above the spiral. They fly in a circle and create kind of a little, I don't know, wind tunnel. So the bugs kind of all come to them. And if you stand real still, they'll fly really close to you, which is really good for us. We enjoy that. So the plants coming up now on both sides of the path are the ones I was telling you about that the bees really like and that they sleep in. And there's so many of them this year. Last year was Queen Anne's lace. We had so much Queen Anne's lace. And this year there doesn't seem to be hardly any. So I guess it's cyclical. Plants kind of do their own thing. This is the one concession to Dandelion, her one agility trick. She jumps over a pole. Coming up on the other side of the mulberry bush now that Tom has lit up so magically. I think that's probably enough. There's me, standing over there. So now he's going to take a shortcut across to the center. There's some tiger lilies that are still blooming a little bit. And that's it. Thanks for visiting our labyrinth.